York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. We're back on track on the floor, scoring more as 94, and the Knicks are hardcore. And I'll tell you like this, we ain't never looked sharper. With Hubert, Bonner, Gray, and Harper, it's the Knicks, and we're back on pace. Everyone's gearing up for the championship race, and the fans are going crazy, and they're doing it for a reason. Cause 94 is the Knickerbocker season. You better believe the Knicks got all that takes. We're shooting three-pointers, and we're running fast breaks, and if your defense makes a mistake, then bam! You ain't dunks in your face. This is a team you don't wanna miss. We are New York. We are the New York Knicks. Go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Say yo, bust it. All you hear is a swish. Threes by Starks and dunks by Smith. And no rebounds. If that's the case, we put Oakley and Mace in your face. We draw charges and we set picks. We are New York. We are the New York Knicks. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go.
And good early afternoon, everybody out there. At the New York Knicks, today is now or never tonight for the Knicks, as they have Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals in Indiana, as we broadcast from the home of the last New York City collegiate basketball team to win a national championship, as we had a women's basketball championship a few months ago. As I see Kayla Abreu, Women's Hoops, in the building. Oh, Kayla, you're on mic 1 or mic 2? You know what, folks? I'm going to have a soon, I was trying to get it by today, we're going to have a nice camera view of the studio, which is far different and better than what you all see on Facebook Live from my phone. But you on 2, Kayla?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So, folks, how are you, Kayla? Good morning.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so our Knicks, folks, they lost the first 2 games in New York at the Garden here. Last time I was here, the series had not started. And before I go any further, I'm excited because, you know, I won from 1 to 2. I do a show on WBAI, and I'm going to have on that show former Knicks beat writer Curtis Bunn, who was covering the Knicks during the 90s, early 90s. The first time Knicks and Pacers met in the playoffs, Reggie Miller's theatrics, 93, 94, 95, the Knicks played each other in the playoffs 3 straight years. And Curtis Bunn was right there, courtside, chronicling everything for the Daily News. And I remember reading him. I would read him all the time growing up. And he actually, I ended up going to the same university as Curtis, Norfolk State University, and I had no idea reading him. And when I ended up applying to school and going to undergraduate school, you know, a few years later, after reading him as a kid, as a Knicks fan, had no idea that he went to Norfolk State. And just years later, I ended up seeing him on Facebook and saw that he went to Norfolk State, which is amazing. And I believe he teaches there now. But, yeah, I'm going to talk to Curtis at 1:30 on WBAI. Looking forward to it. And I'm not even sure if he has been covering sports since then. You know, I know he's not covering sports hard anymore. He does real news, hard news. And so I'm wondering if maybe, because the last time he might have even covered the Knicks was maybe 95. There's a great documentary on the Knicks Pacers playoff history in the 90s. It's a 30 for 30 documentary by ESPN. We know all those documentaries are very good, and it's called Winning Time. No, it's called Winning Time. Reggie Miller versus the New York Knicks, and several shots where you're watching that documentary and watching the old clips from the 90s playoff series, and you see Curtis Bunn right there courtside watching everything. A lot of wild, great times in those Knicks-Pacers playoff series in the 90s. So I'm going to have Curtis on. So if you're all interested in hearing that, 1:30, check us out, WBI. That show is from 1 to 2. Now, the Knicks, folks, I mean, this is not good. This is not good, Kayla. This is not good.
At all.
You know, Kayla, as you're wearing the New York Liberty sweatshirt, and the Liberty got the job done against Indiana on the road yesterday. So hopefully the Knickerbockers can follow suit. Yesterday, Liberty beat Caitlin Clark. Anytime Caitlin Clark is playing, it's a big thing because she's being predicted. I think she's the odds-on favorite to win MVP this year. Is that correct?
She's one of.
Okay.
Right next to Nafisa Collier and
of course, your
Asia
girl.
Wilson, of
yeah,
course.
yeah. So Liberty shut it down yesterday in Indiana, beat Caitlin Clark and her Indiana Fever, and in the crowd. Do you see who was sitting in the crowd yesterday?
Tyrese Halliburton.
Tyrese Halliburton, the enemy right now, okay, who gave the Knicks the choke sign after he made what he thought was a three. Everybody thought was a three at the end of game one, which would have ended the game right there for the Knicks. But, of course, ended up being a 2-point shot, so we had to endure 5 more minutes of pain as the Knicks could not win in overtime. That was just a brutal loss, Kayla. You know, the Knicks, first of all, had never, ever in their 78-year history won a playoff series when they lost game 1 of the series at home. Never. And
Can it be different now that not only the Knicks, also Indiana, both teams are so great on the road? They've proven they've been to Boston, Orlando, and been able to win. I mean, sorry, not Orlando, Detroit, and been able to win on the road. That's going to be key in this series if they're able to pull off at least one win in Indiana.
Yeah, you know what? That's the hope. The Knicks, as you said, the Knicks have played better on the road in the playoffs so far this year. The Knicks at home have had 8 playoff games so far. They've won 3 and lost 5. That's horrible. You know, somebody said if the Knicks played this game on West 4th Street, then maybe the crowd could affect the Pacers. You know what I'm saying? Because right now in the Garden, those tickets cost so much money. You got a bunch of bougie rich folks in there who you know what I'm saying, who don't bring the pain, you know what I'm saying? Like, all the real fans are outside, you know what I'm saying, in the streets, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the crowd, I mean, the Garden is a place where people should be intimidated to come into, and the crowd not getting it done either, you know what I'm saying? And, but the Knicks on the road so far in the playoffs, 6 playoff games, they're 5-1. They won, of course, 2 games in Boston, the first 2 games of that series, and they won every game they played in Detroit in the playoffs, 3 games. So that's the hope that they go. And when they get on the road, they seem to lock in and focus more. You know, it's like us against everybody mentality, you know? But when they're at home, it's like they just get too complacent, you know?
I mean, is it the effect of just what they've been able to bring to the city? The fact that everyone is... all eyes are on the Knicks right now. I sent you a picture on Instagram of the street signs being changed. The numbers of the starting 5. That was a little too much.
Yeah. I thought about you because you were the first person that was like, "Yo, what are they doing?" And then I've heard some other people who I respect, who I listened to for a while, who were killing it. And yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, they have not won a championship. Like, why are we, you know, and like, I love the fact that everybody is excited about the Knicks again, because the Knicks went years where people were not even talking about them. You did not see anybody wearing any Knicks gear at all. I mean, people were just, you know, kind of ashamed to even wear Knicks gear, you know? So I love the fact that people are really excited about the Knicks again, and the city is really into the Knicks. But yeah, the Knicks have not gotten to the conference final. I mean, they have not gotten to the finals or anything. They have not won the championship. So you don't want to obviously make street signs, have players' names as street signs yet. You know, I mean, that's doing too much. Of course, Mayor Adams, he is the one who I believe is responsible for that. So he wants to have his goodwill, his name in the mix. You know what I'm saying? He wants to rub some of that Knicks, what they have going on for them right now. Yeah,
it's a basketball city. When the Knicks are doing good, New York is doing good. Just the environment, the ambiance. So I understand from that aspect. You know, the fans have been looking forward to being in this position for such a long time. But it creates more pressure on the players. I know they've seen that, and they're just like, oh, whoa, it's getting serious. And maybe that would help them do better on the road. The fact that they're away from all the chaos that's going on right now in the city, probably all the love they're getting. They need to lock in.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping for 2 wins on the road. Only thing we can hope for right now.
Definitely. They definitely have to win tonight, you know. And we saw how when the Knicks clinched the Eastern Conference Finals berth, when they beat Boston, they clinched about 9 days ago, 2 Fridays ago, and there was a lot of people celebrating on the streets and outside of the Garden, and there was this one video of this fan who showed up to the game. I believe he was actually at the game inside the arena, and then left the arena, but he was wearing a Tyrese Halliburton jersey, and I don't know why he would do that. And a bunch of Knicks fans saw him outside and started throwing trash at him and chasing him, and the cops had to come and like get him out of there.
Save him, yeah.
Yeah. And so it turns out, you know, the guy was a good sport about it. I mean, you know, but the cops definitely had to come to the rescue because, you know, we don't know what might have taken place if they just let him out there to just make out for himself. But the guy
At least he got the last laugh now.
Yeah. So it's funny because Tyrese Halliburton is flying him out there to Indiana and giving him tickets to the game. And it turns out he's actually the guy who was getting attacked with the trash, the garbage, is a New York firefighter. So, but he's going to be, I believe he'll be out there for Game 4. And, you know, the Pat McAfee show, which is on ESPN, they broadcast in Indianapolis, and he played for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah,
So
he's a huge Caitlin Clark fan in Indiana.
Yeah. So he's gonna have him on the show tomorrow. So that's funny. But the Knicks, man, they gotta take care of business now. There's some comments here. Lloyd Carroll, what's up, LC? He says, I hope the Pacers don't have you let down in Game 3. I expect the Knicks to win this one. He actually wants the Knicks to lose. You know, it's just he's funny, but he said he expects the Knicks to win this game, even though he's rooting against them. And then my man Matt, what's up, Matt? Hard on Little League, brother, right there. He says I don't feel confident with how Game 3 is already starting out. We haven't even had Game 3, brother. Game 3 has not started out. It has not started yet. So, you know, let's hope. Like I said, the Liberty went there, got a win yesterday. You know, let's hope.
Set the tone.
Yes.
Set the tone for the New York Knicks. They left the floor nice and ready for them.
Yeah. And Kayla, it's interesting because the Knicks now, this is the 9th time they've played Indiana since '93 in the playoffs, and they've actually lost, I believe, like 6 of the last 7 times they played. So the Knicks won the first 2 times they played, 93 and 94. You know, 93, they beat them in the semifinals. The 94, when they beat them in the conference finals, they went to the finals. So the Knicks, Kayla, in my lifetime, the Knicks have, so the Knicks have been in the conference finals 5 times in my lifetime. And the last 4 times, it's all been against the Pacers. So 93, conference finals, Knicks that year won 60 games. That was the last time they won 60 games. They only won 60 games twice in their franchise history. That year, 92-93 season. And the year they won their first championship, 69-70 season. So they won 60 in 92-93. Conference finals, played the Bulls in Jordan. They won the first 2 games at home. Then they ended up losing the next 4, and they got beat. The next 4 times they've been in there, it's been against Indiana. 94, the next year, where they beat them to go to the finals. They beat them in 7 games. Then they played them in 99, when they beat them in 6 to go to the finals. their last time in the finals. The next year, he played them 2000 in the conference finals. They lost in 6 games to him that year, and now this year. So this is now the fourth time in a row they play Indiana in the conference finals. It's been 25 years since the last time now that they're in it here. But the Knicks in 98, they played them in the semifinals. They lost, and they beat them in 99. So, like, since they beat them the first 2 times, 93 and 94 in the playoffs, only other time they beat them, only other time they beat them in the playoffs since they beat them in 93 and 94 was in 99 to go to the finals. So they've lost, like, the last several playoff series against them, including, of course, 2013, the Carmelo team, and the Knicks beat Boston in the first round. And then
the Paul George and
yeah. And like I said, they never won a playoff series where they lost game 1 at home, which that series, 2013, they lost game 1 at home. Then they ended up being down 3-1 in the series. So, like, often when the Knicks lose game 1, they end up falling down 3-1 in the series. When they played Atlanta in 2021, that was the next playoff series they played after they had the Indiana 2013 loss. So they were out of the playoffs for 8 years, made it back in 2021. First round, Atlanta lost game 1, lost in 5 games, were down 3-1. Then, 2 years later, which was 2 years ago, 2023, they played the Heat in the second round after beating Cleveland in the first round in 5 games. They played Miami second round, had game 1 at home. Miami was an 8th seed that year, who beat Milwaukee in the first round. Giannis got hurt for the Bucks, so like we're thinking, we're playing the 8th seed. Game 1, they lose at home, fall down 3-1, lose the series. So Knicks. Let's see if they can be road warriors again, like they have all playoff long. I really hope. I
think they could win tonight, but just being able to come from being down 0-2 after losing your advantage, it's going to be tough. They played the Detroit series go to 7 games.
It went 6.
6 games and six the last series. They made it deep into the series.
Mm-hmm.
They're very tired. I know the Pacers had some rest compared to the Knicks, and it's getting to the point where they're very fatigued. Their bench is not as deep as the Pacers. Their Pacers' size is been troubling them. You can tell the way they've been guarding Brunson. It's been tough for him to create the shots. And what do you think about Jalen Brunson? The fact that, well, what I noticed last game, that he holds the ball for so long. The shot clock has 24 seconds. He has it for about 17 seconds. So just finding new ways to create offense, probably.
No, I mean, a lot of people, there are people who say what you're saying, that sometimes he holds the ball too much, dribbles too much, needs to pass the ball, trying to get other people involved. Like, I hear that criticism from people at times. And, I mean, honestly, for me, and you could be right, honestly, for me, a lot of times I feel confident with the ball in his hands, and when it's a crucial situation in the fourth quarter, I want him shooting the ball, So, I mean, but like I said, you could be right. But sometimes it just seems like other guys disappear offensively in the second half, in the fourth quarter. I mean, it hasn't been like that always, of course, because in game one, the Knicks actually, Jalen Brunson got into foul trouble in the fourth quarter. He got his 5th foul early in the fourth quarter. He went to the bench, and the Knicks went on a 14-0 run, actually, with him on the bench. And which, everybody was like, wow, because he goes to the bench beginning of the fourth quarter, game 1, you're thinking we're in trouble, So our best player made the clutch. We don't want to lose this game, but they actually, OG had like the first 5 points when Brunson sat down. Towns had like 10, 11 points in that stretch, or 7 points. So they did their thing, and then So some people want to even go as far as say, which I think is crazy, because they were like, Brunson came back on the court, and Knicks collapsed in the fourth quarter in game 1. So some folks were like, Thibodeau should have left Brunson on the bench because he is not that good of a defender. And so some people want to blame part of the collapse on Brunson coming back in the game because of his defense, which is ridiculous to me. Because, first of all, like, I heard someone say this yesterday. If you think that Tom Thibodeau was going to leave Brunson on the bench for the rest of the game, like, you're not living in reality, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just stupid, okay? And if, say that happened and the Knicks ended up blowing the game, the coach would be fired the next day, you know what I'm saying? I mean, so, like, you're not living in reality if you think that, okay, Knicks up by 14 points or what have you are going to not bring Brunson back on the game because the coach is worried about the defense collapsing because the defense and the team collapsing because of his defense, you know? So, but, okay, so you think...
No, I totally agree. When it's the fourth quarter, when it's crunch time, even the second half, I'm definitely confident with Jalen Brunson having the ball in his hands and making those decisions. But
you think he's a pass
throughout the whole game, like, it's
the
the fact that OG and Cat were able to have a spark offensively with him on the bench just says a lot. You know, the ball is moving around more. They're trying to create plays, feeding Cat. OG is able to create for himself. So, yes, when he's needed in the fourth quarter, especially when the game is to the wire, I definitely have the confidence that Jalen Brunson is going to get it done, as he's shown already. But when you're doing the same thing throughout all four quarters, it's expected. Teams are going to defend you a certain way, and it's going to give you more trouble. So really finding those other guys and allowing those OG and Cat to create a bit more.
Well, definitely they're going to need everybody to play well and to produce and score. So, yeah, I mean, the thing, everybody has got to touch the ball. Everybody's got to produce. Everybody's got to step up. And whatever they got to do, they need to do it. And you talk about OG and Anunoby. He's someone who I am a little critical of right now because, first of all, folks, you must realize that OG, first of all, I like him. And when he came last season, the Knicks, their first 17 games with him, or after the trade, were 15-2 through the first 17 games. And the Knicks hardly lost last season with OG in the lineup. Knicks might have lost about 6 or 7 times the whole season, regular season and playoffs with OG in the lineup. Now, the problem last year was he got hurt a couple times, missed some games. But when he was playing, they really lost. And he became a free agent after last season, and we saw the impact he had on the team. Now, OG has never been somebody who has made an all-star team ever. So when you make an all-star team, you're really showing how good you are because it's very hard to make an all-star team because there's so much talent in the NBA. And only 12 players per conference make it. So it's very hard to make it. So if you make an all-star team, that shows that you are a really, really good player. And OG has never made an all-star team. Okay? Now, last summer, he was a free agent. And the team who the Knicks beat last year in the first round had a rough and tumble playoff series against the team in the city that is closest to us in the NBA, right down the road, Philadelphia 76ers. They wanted OG. They had space available to give him the max contract, which they were. They were going to give OG the max, all right? The Knicks could not have that, all right? And they could not lose him. So he had the Knicks hanging over a barrel because you can't have him go to Philadelphia as good as he was. Like, he helped the Knicks beat Philadelphia in the playoff last year. Now we're going to have him go and join and be the maxi? Nah. And like I said, the Knicks hardly lost with him in the lineup last year, so they had to give him what they had to give him. So they had to give him a huge max deal. And OG, folks, is the highest paid Knick in franchise history. OG is, all right? So with that comes great expectations and okay? So OG, you look at the other team, Indiana, they have his former teammate in Toronto, Pascal Siakam. 2 years ago, all right, at this time 2 years ago, they were both with Toronto. At the beginning of last season, they were both on Toronto. Toronto decided to blow it up. They put both of them on the trade block. Before either one of them got traded, all right, Siakam was the one who, I mean, that was, if you could ask me, who do you want? OG Anunoby or All-Star Pascal Siakam? My first pick would have been Pascal. All right. Indiana ended up trading for Pascal Siakam. Knicks get OG. Like I said, OG came and did his thing. Knicks hardly lost with him last year. But right now, we're in a playoff series, and OG, the highest paid Knick of all time, is playing against his former Toronto teammate, Pascal, who you would, and OG's supposed to be, oh, you hear, oh, I love this, when you say, oh, they're a two-way player. They're a great two-way player. Okay, so, OG, could you lock him up? If you're not going to score 20, 30 points, like, Pascal just scored 39 in game 2, okay? You were his teammate. You're the highest paid Knick ever. Could you score 30? As you can't score 30, you're such a great two-way player, right? Could you at least slow him down?
Lock him up.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I have an issue with him right now. He needs to come through. Now, Kayla, I got to ask you. You know, your boy, our boy, you know, I like him too. He just made the NBA third team, all NBA third team this year. So he's now, it's like his 4th year, I believe, of the all NBA player. And Brunson was NBA all second team. But he's somebody who a lot of Knicks fans, you know, especially in the playoffs, have kind of become like a little frustrated with him at times. And then he'll have a good game, make everybody happy. But then it's like, we need more from you. That's Karl-Anthony Towns. What do you see from him right now?
Usually his problem, or at least in this playoff so far, has been foul trouble early. That knocks him off of his game right away. Mm-hmm. He's one of those bigs that can really stand outside on the arc, shoot the three, but he relies on that a little too much. I feel like he can do more damage in the paint, especially with, you have Paul Siakam, you have Miles Turner, you have all this size. Like, we need you in the paint.
Yeah.
So I think feeding him the ball down low and getting those high percentage shots are better. It's going to be better for the Knicks than just having him stand on the 3-point line.
You're right. And you said it. Having him stand on the 3-point line. Yo, get down low. Like, sometimes you got to get down low and use your 7-foot frame and just go to work, because those are high percentage shots, okay? You know, I mean, like, shooting those 3-point shots, the percentage of making them are less, and those shots are not going to always fall. Like, we want you to take him because he's great at making those deep shots, and when he makes them, they look pretty. It's nothing but net splash, you know? I think it was Stephen A. Smith somebody called him the 7-foot Steph Curry. I was like,
all right, not too much.
But it was like, you know, he's so talented, number 1 pick, and it's just like, yo, we see him at times score 30, 40 points. We've seen him score 50 points in the game. Might have even scored 60 once last year. And it's just like, yo, we need you to do that and be dominant. And without you being dominant, it's hard for this team to win. And the last game, and I felt like it was a mistake last game, because Tom Thibodeau sat him for most of the 4th quarter when the Knicks need points. I mean, they need points. Mitchell Robinson had been playing outstanding. He's been playing very well. And whenever he's on the court, the Knicks are on the plus to outscore the other team when he's on the court. Like, he's not even a scorer, but his defense and his rebounding, his offensive rebounding, giving the Knicks second chance opportunities after missed shots, is having a huge impact. Like I said, he's been a plus every time he's been on the court. Towns actually, I'm not sure how much you believe in the plus-minus thing. I mean, Towns finished with about 20 points, I think, but he was like a negative 20 in the game. And Thibodeau sat him most of the 4th quarter, which I felt like he should have had him in the game, because he can score and you need points. Like, it was a neck-and-neck game where they needed his scoring. Brought him in late. So we'll see about that. But, yeah.
I know this cat likes to stand on the 3-point line when Brunson is over dribbling the ball a little too much. So he's like, I know I'm not gonna get it down low. He just stands at the top. So we'll see what the game plan is for tonight.
Yeah, and
hopefully.
yeah, and
How do you feel about Mitchell Robinson starting over Josh Hart?
Wait, is that going to happen?
It was a rumor on.
Yeah, because somebody just, my man Matt just wrote.
A couple people have been mentioning it.
Matt wrote, and Mitch is starting. I think Tibbs needs to keep the starting five the same, but rotate sub earlier. Yo, Matt, if you're watching this, is that official? Is Mitch Robinson starting for Josh Hart tonight? I mean, I haven't seen anything where that was going to happen. You know what? I that's something that I spoke with my friend about. And honestly, if it was me right now, I would do it because Mitch is a presence. Like I said, every time he's on the court, the whole playoff right now, Knicks are in the plus. There was one game in game 2. No, what was it? It was game 2. Game 2. Okay, Matt says it's official. You know what? I like it. Thank you, Matt. I like it, and I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, in game 2, right? You know the whole Hack and Mitch thing, right?
Right.
So, where folks, if you don't know, they fouled Mitchell Robinson on purpose, so he's got to go to the free throw line. He's a horrible free throw shooter, and they put him there so the Knicks have to have him shoot free throws, and they can't have a possession where they can really make a shot because they got to have Mitch shoot free throws and miss. So, but that can only happen when the team has 5 fouls. Once you get your 5th foul, then the other team automatically, every time you foul them from that point on, shooting free throws, right, audience? So, in game 2, Boston was fouling Mitchell Robinson before they were even over the limit, and to put themselves like at 5 over the limit, so they could either foul him and have him shoot free throws. But what they also really wanted to do was they knew that once they got over the limit, that the Knicks head coach, Tom Thibodeau, was going to take Mitchell Robinson out of the game, which is what he wanted. He wanted Mitchell Robinson out of the game because he was having that big of an impact on the game. Right. So when the Knicks won game 2, after the game, the Boston reporters, they didn't understand his thinking at that point. So they kept asking him, why are you fouling the Knicks and Mitchell Robinson when they're not over the limit? It's not leading to Mitchell Robinson take free throws when you foul because you're not over the limit. So what are you doing? And he got asked that a few times. And then finally he was like, yo, he took the stat sheet and he said that every Knicks starter was in the negative, plus minus for the game. Mitchell was like a plus 18. Plus 18. Yeah. So he was like, I want him out of the game. So now Josh Hart has not brought a lot to this series. We love Josh Hart. I love Josh Hart, but he's not bringing a lot.
Not like he did last postseason.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good series last series, but right now against Indiana, the first 2 games, he's not bringing a lot. And Mitchell Robinson's presence is bringing a lot. And
he should just be tired. I feel like Josh Hart, at the beginning of the season, just playing almost 40 minutes every night.
Yeah,
being that player on the floor, reliable on defense, grabbing rebounds, just doing everything. A lot of hustle plays. You see him falling to the stands all the time, just trying, doing the extra step, being that hustle kind of player. So it could be just fatigue.
Yeah, and his game is built all off of hustle. Cause he's not like the best shooter, the best scorer. He's just a hustle guy who's great at hustling and getting rebounds, loose balls, making things happen. Doing a little bit of everything. But I also think that Mitchell Robinson. Josh Hart, rather. I think Josh Hart will help the bench. He'll bring the energy off the bench. Like the Knicks bench is lacking, So now they'll have somebody who, so it'll help balance.
Avoid other teams fouling Mitchell Robinson so early. Like Indiana's not going to start attacking Mitch from the jump.
Exactly. Like you're not going to start doing that from the jump. Exactly. So that's another thing. So in the last series, when they lost Game 3, I was ready to make this move then. Have Mitch start. And the biggest reason why was because I didn't want them having to foul him, because in Game 3 they fouled him a lot, and he was just like, couldn't make nothing. And there was one instance where the crowd, he missed one free throw, then the crowd started cheering for him, hey, Mitch, before the second one, everybody cheering for him. He shoots it air ball. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, man, you know? And then they got blown out in game 3, too, you know? So I was like, yo, I was ready to make the switch, have Mitch start so they can't do the hack and Mitch from the beginning of the game and, you know, have his defense out there because he was making an impact. But Thibodeau did not do that, which, you know, in hindsight, if he'd made it, might have looked like a panic move, maybe. If they lost, if he had made it and they lost, they would have said, oh, the panic move. And he did not make the move. The Knicks went on in Game 4 and beat Boston in Game 4. So he looked. So when that happened, I was like, okay, you know what? That's why I'm not the coach. He gets paid the big bucks. So now we're kind of like in the same situation. Do you make the move? And like I said, last time I would have done it. He did not do it. It worked out. This time I would do it, and he decided to do it too, to make the move. I like it though because the Knicks need to do something.
I mean, they're down 2-1.
Yeah.
You gotta play all your cards that you can.
Exactly.
It's now or never.
Exactly. If nothing to lose, they gotta make an adjustment. You know what I'm saying? So I like this. Like, you know, and Josh Hart, you know, coming off the bench, he's gonna bring the fire. You know he's probably ticked off that he's got to go to the bench anyway. So he's gonna come off the bench with the fire. So let's go. I feel good about this.
Yeah, no, I like this move too. Like you said, there's nothing to lose. So
yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, but it's just crazy how the Knicks, the last 4 times they played in the conference finals, all been against Indiana. You know, Knicks Indiana before the first playoff series, 93, there never was really a big sports rivalry between New York and Indiana. But now it's here, you know, and it's titled Knicks. They called it in the 90s, Knicks versus Hicks. And, you know, the Hicks don't like that. So the Hicks, you know, they when they see New York, they get mad. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they want to beat the Knicks. You gotta watch that documentary on 30 for 30 about, it's called Reggie Miller versus the New York Knicks, Winning Time, and it goes all into the 90s. Really, it goes into the 93 through 95 Knicks playoff battles, those 3 straight years, and they played again 3 straight years at the end of the decade. Someone's calling. I wonder who's calling. Let's see. Is it Unc?
Is it?
I was trying to reach him this morning, but wasn't able to get him. Let's see.
I hope it is.
Oh, wait.
Uncle always gives me a good laugh.
Good morning. You're on the air. Who is speaking?
Hey, good morning. This is Christian Martinez. What's going on?
Oh, what's up, Christian? This is okay. Christian is a adjunct professor here at City College, right?
Yeah, that's me. At John Jay.
At John Jay. Great. So, yes, I got a chance to hook up with Christian briefly on LinkedIn, and so Christian, so I know you've been watching this series. So, what are your thoughts on what's going on right now with these Knicks?
Yeah, man. I actually wanted to talk because I just heard you guys talk about potentially starting Mitchell Robinson over Josh Hart. And I like your take because Mitchell Robinson is playing fantastic, and the plus-minus with him and Brunson on the floor is much better than with him and Cat. I know you're going to put Cat in there as well. But if you can get Mitchell Robinson to have that defensive presence and get those boards without the risk of getting in foul trouble or getting fouled and shooting free throws, I feel like that's the best way to utilize him.
Yeah, I agree, because they can't start that hack and Mitch stuff at the beginning of the game. And, yeah, I agree. So I think it's a strong move. I mean, how do you think Josh Hart will handle coming off the bench?
I actually think that may be good. I feel like in terms of an energy level, no one on the Knicks has energy like Josh Hart. And he's kind of like CJ on the other team of like, this guy's ready to hustle. I mean, the fact that he's averaging, 9.6 boards a game and he's in there, I'm thinking that maybe he gives them a little more of a spark that they need, especially because, I don't know how you guys feel, but the Pacers are definitely outpacing the Knicks. I'm watching Brunson in the fourth quarter, and he looks gassed. Like, I don't know how much more this guy can do overall, so hopefully Hart can take away some of this and like can help bring energy to the whole game off the bench.
Yes, and Kayla here, she agrees with you that Brunson knows gas, right?
Yeah.
Christian, do you think that there's anyone else who Tom Thibodeau should play off the bench?
I don't know, man. I'm thinking, like, I really want to say put Campaign a little bit more, but, like, up until maybe the latter end of the Celtics series and the beginning of, like, game one, this guy was cold as ice. Not saying that if you're Campaign, you can't get hot, but I just don't know who off the bench. And, like, I'm watching Mikal Bridges. He's playing, 46 minutes last game? Like, obviously Thibodeau is so used to just playing his starters as much as possible. Do you throw some people from the bench? If you can have a stronger Brunson in the fourth quarter, then I think you put someone from the bench in. But I don't know who you play. What do you guys think?
I would like to see Precious Achiuwa play some. I mean, that won't help Brunson. Yeah, even I think Landry Shamet could come in and hit a couple of threes, 2 or 3. He's the kind of guy that could come in and light it up from 3 and give you a spark and really give you an advantage with that, I think. You know, and he actually plays better defense and plays tougher than I realized before watching him with the Knicks.
100%. 100%. I know that he's older. Do you think that P.J. Tucker could get some burn and, like, maybe throw a little veteran presence in there? Maybe, like, he knows how to stop the pace of the Pacers a little bit, or no?
I mean, you know, a lot of Knicks fans, they do mention him. I mean, P.J. Tucker, he's 39 years old, so, like, I look at him, I'm like, yo, like, who's he really going to, can he stay in front of somebody right now? I mean, honestly, at 39, I would doubt it.
PJ Tucker he's just on the floor to show off his shoes at this point.
Trying to get creative. Like, I'm watching the Knicks against the Pacers, and I don't know, man. Like, obviously game one was a tragedy, right? Like, but game two, they really fell, even though they're 81-81. I just don't know. Like, you need something. You need to switch it up. I don't know who to bring on the bench. Maybe give McBride a little bit more burn. Something's got to – they need to need a little more zest.
Yeah, Deuce, you know, I think about when he had Quickly a couple years ago, and he was somebody who, even though he didn't play well 2 years ago in the playoffs, but his role that he had on the team, the Knicks, you know, if they had a strong guard coming off the bench who could really, you know, light it up and really, you know, play big at times, the way Quickly at times could play like a number one guy. So they kind of lack that. I mean, I like Deuce, and he definitely gives them some good moments, and he's very good defensively. I kind of expected a little bit more out of Deuce over the last year and a half, but I mean,
especially offensively.
Yes.
He misses a lot of open shots.
Yes. So I mean,
and I don't know how you guys feel too. You brought it up quickly, but like, it hurts a little bit watching Toppin just dunk on us. Man, like, I know that's what he has to do, but I really liked Obi Toppin and Quickly, and I thought they had great chemistry. And like, watching Obi in the Eastern Conference Finals dunk on us is hard.
Yeah, and you look at even someone like Quentin Grimes, who with Philadelphia, you know, towards the end of the year was going crazy, and I don't know how much stock you can put in that, him doing that with a bad team, but Quentin Grimes, he got drafted the same year as Deuce. They came in together, and you thought both of them could be really good. And the Knicks, you know, they traded Quentin Grimes last year to get Bogdanovich and Alec Burke for the bench, and which at the time, you know, a lot of people like, because Quentin Grimes had kind of lost his starting spot to DiVincenzo, and the Knicks were trying to strengthen their bench. But you look at it now, and the two guys they traded for him are no longer here, and Quentin Grimes, another young guy who really could help them right now, who they had.
That's exactly what they need right now.
Yeah, because you look at the Knicks roster from where it was 2 years ago when they beat Cleveland in the first round in 5 games, and then, you know, that was their first playoff series win in 8 years. In 10 years it was when they won that, and only their second in 23 years. And then there was a lot of excitement about the Knicks, and they lose to Miami in the second round. But like most of that team is gone except for like Brunson and Hart, Mitchell Robinson. Like they had a lot of turnover, and Liam, they're in the Eastern Conference Finals now. But that was a young team where everybody was like, we got a lot of young guys, and they can be together for a while. A lot of those young guys got moved, and a lot of things that worked out. Like Leon Rose has been really good, but the Quentin Grimes move, you're like, they could use him right now because really they didn't really end up. Yeah. So, okay, Christian. Before I let you go, two things I want to ask you real quick. Now, you mentioned to me this is interesting. So I'm always interested in how people became fans of sports teams, and you mentioned to me that you also actually are a Nets fan. And tell me about how you became a Nets fan, Knicks fan, and all that.
Yeah, so look, number one, I'm always rooting for New York sports. Doesn't matter who it is, right? Especially in the playoffs. Like, I'm rooting New York City to the death of me. In terms of the Nets, man, I was a big Joe Johnson fan. At the same time, the New Jersey Nets were becoming the Brooklyn Nets. Joe Johnson on the Hawks gets traded. And I'm like, you know what? I really like Joe Johnson. I'm going to root for the Nets, too. Kind of like a day one-ish type of fan. In my opinion, I'm a little younger, so I'm like, all right, cool. Now, I've been through a lot of Nets teams. There has been nothing better than watching D'Lo throw the ice in his veins. I mean, I was at some fantastic games with D'Lo. I was actually at the first game when they made it to the playoffs, that team with DeMar Carroll, et cetera.
Against Philly.
They lost to the Philadelphia 76ers game one. I was at that game, the playoff game, and that was brutal. But then I was also, I think I may have told you, I was at game 7 with them versus the Bucks, where Durant had his foot on the line, similar to game 1 of the Knicks this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. I mean, you were there it's the opposite, sorry, but you felt the vibe. And in Barclays Center, when Durant made that 3, I mean, I literally thought Barclays was going to jump from the ground, like the whole building. I couldn't believe it. I will tell you also, once he didn't hit the 3 and it was a 2, I was like, man, we're shot. I don't think we're going to win. Just the energy was so deflating of not winning. So that's my low-key history of being a Nets fan.
Christian, I respect how you became really a Nets fan organically before they even had a bunch of stars, and I respect it. I respect it. However, I must say, the basketball gods intervened that night, because I'm telling you right now, the last thing I wanted to see was the Brooklyn Nets and KD and them win a championship before the Knicks, because let me tell you, had they, I was nervous. I was real nervous during those days,
All my boys, too. And mind you, I told you, I rep all New York teams, right? But all my boys, I have friends that have the Knicks tattooed on them. That's how serious they are. And all of them were having the same opinion. Yo, there's no way we're trying to have the Nets win before the Knicks. Yeah, we want the Nets to be good because they're in New York, but, not better than the Knicks. So I understand.
Yeah, I mean, because you see right now, all the excitement with the Knicks, had the Brooklyn Nets won a championship with those guys, it would not be the same whenever the Knicks finally did win a championship, because the Nets would have already brought a championship to the city. And even though, most folks wouldn't, care the way they would with the Knicks, still, they would have beat the Knicks to it. So whenever they did win, say Brooklyn won 4 years ago, now the Knicks would do what they're doing right now, it wouldn't be as big. So that was the biggest reason why I didn't want to see the Brooklyn Nets win before the Knicks. And also, yeah. And I gotta say, I couldn't stand Kevin Durant and Kyrie and them, because they dissed the Knicks, and then they won a Hot 97. Oh, why did you not go to the Knicks? Oh, KD said, oh, the Knicks are corny. So I was done with them. And you know what? And you hear rumors now that, oh, the Knicks could trade for Kevin Durant this summer. Hell no. I want no part of Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
Stay there and suffer. Stay there.
You guys.
Yes. So, but yeah. But anyway, Christian.
Well, before he goes, he said he's roots for all New York teams. So I have to ask one important question. It's important to me: Yankees or Mets?
come on, you know your boy's wearing a Mets hat on right now. At the game yesterday. I know what the vibes are.
No.
We're Yankees forever over here.
Yeah. Over here with Yankees. But no, but
You want to talk about OG? I was playing the baseball games and going to the Mets games, taking the 7 with my pops, watching Carlos Beltran, Jose Reyes, Carlos Delgado, David Wright, like way back in the day,
Yeah, I might
too.
be a Yankees fan,
I've been
but
watching them before this trade last year for Soto.
no doubt, man. No. You know what? In all seriousness.
I gotta root for Queens.
yeah.
No doubt. No. You know what? In all seriousness, I respect Mets fans because it's not easy being a Mets fan. So if you're a Mets fan, if you're a Mets fan, you're a true fan. Like it's easy for people to be Yankee fans, and jump on the bandwagon. I mean, I became a fan in the '80s when they were bad, like rock bottom before they got good.
I mean, Samori cried the championship.
Yeah.
World Series.
In '96, I cried. In '95, the year before, when they lost in the first round to Seattle in 5 games, first time I ever saw the Yankees in the playoffs in my life. '95 playoffs. They won the first 2 games at home, best of 5 series. Then they went to Seattle, and the next 3 were in Seattle. Lost all 3 games. Game 5 went extra innings, heartbreaking loss. I cried. I was crying. Yeah, that was the most painful loss I've ever experienced. Still, as a sports fan, and that was actually 30 years ago. Yeah.
All right. Last question, then I'll go. How does that rank with you being at Game 1 of this series, though?
That's a good question because that Seattle Yankee loss right there, that's still the worst loss that I've experienced as a fan. And then I said, just a few months ago, I said the worst loss I've ever been at in my life was Game 5, Yankees-Dodgers, okay? that was horrific. But I would still say that the Seattle loss in '95 was, still slightly above Game 5, still Seattle. And what I saw happen with the Knicks Game 1, so that to me is probably, and there's been a lot of painful Knicks losses since the '90s, lots of them. That one probably, the worst Knicks loss that I've seen, and that's saying a lot. Seattle Yankees is still number 1, but Knicks, this Game 1 was the worst Knicks loss I've seen. Yes. So.
They're all tough. No matter which one is the better, they're all tough.
Yeah. Okay. Last one. I just want to tell people. So, Christian, I'm gonna have you back on, and you could come in the studio if you want, or do it over the phone, however you want to do it. Now, tell everybody real quickly, and want to have you want to talk about it in depth. About you have this gambling thing you have going on. So just tell folks about it.
Yeah, man. So I like to describe it as gambling without gambling. It's called Fan Foresight, the prediction competition. And what it is, it's just really a bunch of prop bet questions. So, for instance, I'm working with Pilot House again tonight. I was featured in the local newspaper in Rockaway, the Rockaway Times. And so fans sign up. They answer a few questions about the event that's happening. So for tonight, I've got questions like, who's going to score the first basket? Who's going to be leading at halftime? Is Cat going to have over 40 points, rebounds, assists total? Questions like that. So this way you can participate for free. You can answer some questions. You get to be more engaged in whatever event you're looking at. And you get a chance to win free prizes. Like for tonight, Pilot House, for first place, is offering a free $50 gift card to whoever scores the total amount of points, the most amount of points, And then second place is a free bucket of beers. And who doesn't like a free bucket of beers for a free game?
Very nice, very nice. So everyone, check that out. Do you want to tell them again how they can get involved?
Yeah, man. Check me out at Fan Foresight, FANFORESIGHT on Instagram. And feel free to message me, do whatever. And, yeah, good luck to everyone that plays. And hopefully that we can expand to even more events. And I'm really excited thanks for having me, as a caller right now. It's awesome to talk Knicks and just sports. And then I would love to come on the show if you guys are ever have any availability.
Yeah, of course, man. I'm gonna have you come on the show very soon to, we'll talk about all this. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, so Christian, thank you for calling in, man, and we'll definitely talk to you soon.
Nice meeting you.
Guys, yes, you as well. Have fun and let's go Knicks.
Let's
Let's go Knicks. All right. Yeah, down with the Nets. All right, so I'll talk to you soon, Christian. All right, man. Peace. All right, so Kayla, so we should get ready to turn our attention towards the WNBA.
WNBA.
Do you want to go for a break, or you want to just go into it right now?
Maybe we could start it off.
Okay, so
I'm ready.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, we started the show with the New York Liberty, the reigning WNBA champions. That sounds beautiful, and the Knicks hope to be champions, and the Liberty went to Indiana to face Caitlin Clark, and they came away with the W. And I saw the new addition, Natasha Cloud, a big addition. She made the game-saving, game-stopping defensive play on Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, I mean, Natasha Cloud plays with that similar energy that we were talking about with Josh Hart, that Josh Hart plays with. She's all about hustle. She made that great defensive play on Caitlin Clark. She was able to knock the ball out of her hands, didn't allow her to shoot the three, and save the game. Liberty winning 90-88. And on the possession before that, Sabrina had shot free throws. She was fouled by Caitlin Clark in a drive that I didn't really think was a foul. I was hoping Stephanie White would call a challenge. She still had a challenge left with so late in the game. But yes, great defensive stop by Natasha Cloud. We said last show how we needed her if we wanted to do have a back-to-back or have it come to the finals again, because with the targets on our back, we really needed that defensive energy, that New York energy. Losing Kayla Thornton, not having Manijah Laney out towards injury, Natasha has been just the perfect addition to the Liberty team. Liberty still undefeated, 3-0 right now, alongside Minnesota,
right,
who are 4-0. The only two teams who are undefeated.
The Liberty beat Angel Reese in game 2, right?
The game before that, yes.
In Chicago.
So we'll speak a little bit about both games. Just want to start off with Minnesota, who's the number 1 seed right now, 4-0. Nafisa Collier, she's playing with a chip on her shoulder. Nafisa and Minnesota played the Liberty last season in the finals, lost. But she's coming out the gate like she never left. Defensive Player of the Year last year, still bringing that defensive intensity to Minnesota, but was also averaging 29.5 points per game in these last four games. So not only is she that defensive energy, but she's being able to add more to the game, bringing offense to Minnesota. And I really feel like she's the favorite right now for MVP. I know you mentioned Caitlin Clark is one of the favorites. She's in the conversation, but I think Nafisa Collier has her eyes set on the MVP this season.
Yeah, Nafisa Collier, I like her game a lot, and she's really, honestly, someone who I did not know much about before last season.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah,
she played in UConn.
Yeah, I
know. Under Gino.
I know that now. Yeah, but I really did not know much about her. I really saw her really for the first time a lot for a large period of time during the finals last year.
Right.
And then watching her in the Unrivaled competition.
That too.
And now
she won the one-on-one tournament.
Yeah. And now early here, she has a quiet confidence, but low-key aggressive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, calm demeanor all the time.
Yeah. I like her. I like what I see from her. And Minnesota definitely, with how the finals ended for them last year, kind of like on a controversial ending.
Right, Game 5.
Yeah.
Went either way.
You kind of get the sense that Nafisa Collier and Minnesota are on a mission this year. It's still early, It's easy to come out guns blazing first few games of a long season,
Especially with a same team that was together last year. They already have that chemistry.
Right. So we got to see if they can keep this up the entire season, which I'm sure they will. But definitely, led by her, they look like they're definitely a team on a mission this
Led by
year.
her
So
and
look out.
Courtney Williams, the
Courtney
point
Williams,
guard.
yes.
I mean, right now they're number 1 in assists as well with 25.5 assists per game. In the league, they just know how to pass the ball well, and find the open man, find the Fisa. Their 3-point shooters, Bridget Carlton, and them. So, hopefully they can keep it up.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Liberty, the number 2 seed, who are on the road right now. Played Chicago and Indiana the last 2 games last week, and were able to pull the win. But that game versus Chicago, they were on fire. The Liberty were on fire. They set a WNBA record for 19 threes made in a game.
Oh wow! Yes. Amazing.
Just insane. Kennedy Burke
Amazing.
led the way with that. 17 points, 4 for 4 from 3, off the bench, which is very important. She wasn't giving that production last season, so knowing that she's able to do that this season will be very important as the season goes on. And Natasha Cloud, also a part of it, 4 for 5 from 3. And Sabrina has been struggling a little bit shooting since the home opener against the Aces till now. You can tell that she's getting adjusted to having Natasha Cloud with the ball in her hands more.
Nice. You know what? Well, I just noticed. It's funny. It just hit me. So, folks, Kayla here had a shoulder operation. You know what, Kayla? I just realized you're out of your sling.
Oh, yeah. I'm not supposed to be. I didn't wear it this morning.
Oh, really?
On my little morning walk, yeah.
Uh-oh.
So I came straight here, but
So you're defying doctor's orders right now?
I only have 1 more week left. I'll be
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah,
Yeah, I
happy to
did
see you
have
healing.
labrum surgery. Have 1 more week of wearing my sling and a couple more months of physical therapy. But I'll definitely be able to shoot, hopefully, sometime in August.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you're on the road to recovery. It looks like it's going well. Yeah, so now the Phoenix and Atlanta, Brittany Griner is with Atlanta for the first time in her career. And Ryan Howard, what team is Ryan Howard on?
Also on Atlanta.
Atlanta, and she got into it with Kaylin Clark the previous game, I guess. And now Indiana won that game. Now, how is Brittany Griner and Atlanta doing so far?
They're doing very well. They're doing, 4 games for them.
Okay.
2-2. The number 9 seed right now. The addition of Brittany Griner, not only Brittany Griner, Brianna Jones, who
Right, with Connecticut, right?
Yeah, used to play with Connecticut. Had a chance to play with John Cole Jones as well. They were, but pairing her up with Brittany Griner is going to help Atlanta. They made it to the playoffs last season. Played the Liberty in the first round, lost to Liberty. They really needed that presence in the paint, and Brittany Griner is such a great vet, such a great shot blocker, defensive player, can really teach Brianna Jones a few things, and it's been working well for Atlanta. I feel like Atlanta's just missing a sharpshooter. They have Naz Hillman, Tahina Pau, rookie from South Carolina.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Who's also been giving them some good minutes. So I would like to see Atlanta, be able to make it to the second round this season in the playoffs, and they definitely have the potential.
Nice. Yeah, that's funny because, Shanae Agumake, she's a very talented broadcaster with ESPN, former women's player, went to Stanford. Her sister, Nneka Agumake, is still balling right now in the NBA for Seattle. And
just a fun fact, they're the only pair of siblings both drafted number 1, next to, I think, Eli Manning.
Eli and Peyton were number 1 overall too, right?
Correct. And the only other 2 siblings to ever do that were in the WNBA, which was Shanae and Nneka.
Nice. There could be another set of siblings who matches that this year. So there's in baseball, they're the sons of a former major leaguer, a former major league all-star. So multiple-time all-star Matt Holliday, he played for Colorado, played for St. Louis, Oakland, played for the Yankees for 1 season. At the end, he has a son named Jackson Holliday, who was number 1 overall pick a few years ago for Baltimore. He just made his debut for Baltimore last year. I actually interviewed him a couple of times. I met him, yeah. So, and then he has a younger brother who, Ethan Holiday, who is supposed to be even more talented than him, who may be the first pick overall this year. So that's interesting. And then there's two other brothers who almost did that. The Upton brothers, BJ and Justin, and they're dear to my heart because they're from Norfolk. And their dad went to Norfolk State, and they're two black brothers. BJ was drafted by Tampa Bay, number 2 overall in like 2002, I think it was, and then his brother Justin was picked first overall like in 2005, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
a nice little
that was
trivia
cool.
question there.
Yeah. So like, so they right now in baseball, the only brothers to go 1 and 2 ever. But the Holidays may both be number ones. If Ethan gets picked number 1 this year, so we'll see. But yeah, that's always very cool. It's funny because Sinead Gumike, she was talking about how this past week there was a scuffle. I forgot if it was in WNBA or NBA, and she was saying, "Oh, it's nothing."
The Ball brothers.
The Ball brothers, yeah. The Ball brothers, Doug. My man Doug just came in here and said the Ball brothers. Yeah, the Ball brothers are some other brothers who are doing their thing. When you look at it, there are some. You know what? One thing I love too are twins. Twins who play.
Like Ahmed and
Yeah.
Ahmed.
And there's actually several sets of twins in the NBA right now. You had the Ahmed Asar Thompson. Yeah. You have the Murray, Keegan Murray, and his brother Chris Murray. Keegan Murray plays for Sacramento. He was a star at Iowa, and his brother was also with him in Iowa, but was not as big of a star. Keegan is righty. His brother Chris is lefty. Chris plays for the Portland Trailblazers, and Keegan, Sacramento.
I remember the Morris twins. What was the big one?
The Morris twins, and they were on First Take, ESPN this past week, so you saw them a lot. Who else is there? There's 2 brothers who are from New York. One of them played for St. John for a year, I think, or another one played for Pittsburgh. Champagne brothers, Julian and Justin Champagne.
Okay.
They're not as well known, but one of them plays for San Antonio. Other one plays for Washington. And I'm trying to. And we had the Lopez twins, Brooke and Robin.
Oh, yes. Are they were twins? I thought
Twins.
It was just, okay.
The twins, yeah. Identical twins, but
I might have to do some research in the WNBA. See, I know there's 2 siblings like Niara and Satu. Niara playing for the Liberty, Satu playing for Phoenix right now.
Yes.
And there's a couple other siblings who have played, but I don't know if twins.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Now that you mention it, I'm not sure. I can't remember twins in WNBA. Maybe so. Excuse me. So one. Okay. Maybe. Okay. So maybe someone who maybe could have happened. Maybe not. Probably not. Only one of them. So Cheryl Miller and Cynthia Cooper on their championship team were a pair of twins.
Right, the McGee twins.
Right.
For USC, but they weren't in the WNBA. That was college.
Yeah, I think Pam might have played in WNBA.
Oh, okay.
And that's JaVale McGee's mother.
Right.
The basketball player who ended up, was drafted by Washington, played there several years, then ended up winning championships with the Lakers and Golden State. His mother, Pam McGee, and her sister played at USC. I think Pam might have played in WNBA, but,
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that research after this. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I mean, you have the Collins twins, played with the Nets. Jason Collins, he played with the Nets when they had Kidd. Kenyon Martin, he had twin brother, Jaron Collins. They both went to Stanford also a few years before Robin and Brooke went to Stanford.
Yeah.
And Robin and Brooke, they're identical, but they just wear their hair differently.
Yeah. One has the lower cut, the other has the fro.
Yes. So that's always cool. But so anyway.
But back to the W a little bit. You mentioned Angel Reese, your girl Angel Reese, who played that game, Chicago versus the Liberty. Didn't have a great game at all. Was 0 for 8.
Mm-hmm.
2 for 6 from the free throw line. Ended with 2 points the entire game.
Really?
Yeah,
She was just said she was 0 for 8
0 for 8.
against Liberty.
Correct.
Wow.
Against the Liberty, had I think 12 rebounds. 8 of those 12 rebounds were offensive rebounds, and even then, wasn't able to capitalize on the second point opportunities, or even give her teammates that second opportunity points, just turnovers. Wasn't having a great game. Or we could credit it to the Liberty defense, because the game right after that, Caitlin Clark was only held to 2 threes. So it was 2 for 11, I believe. Caitlin has been having some trouble scoring, just the way she's being guarded now this season. She's always able to get her assist and find her teammates. Is a very good rebounding guard, but has been getting locked up on defense, because the game before that against Atlanta didn't allow 1 3. She was 0 for, I'm not sure how many, but she was shooting very contested shots. And the last time Caitlin did not score a 3 in a game was in sophomore year of college. It was about a 1,000-day streak. And that's why I feel like in that game versus New York, I don't think the play should have been drawn up for Caitlin Clark. Her first 3-pointer of that game against New York was at the end of the second half, beginning of the third, around there. Only had another 3 after that. And she knew she was going to be heavily guarded, especially by Natasha Cloud. And when you have shooters like Kelsey Mitchell, who Caitlin Clark had to get through her in college to break her record. She was 3rd all-time in points in the NCAA. Then Kelsey Plum, and now Caitlin Clark. But when you have so many offensive options on your team, you really need to, I guess, share the wealth. They drew up the play for Caitlin, knowing that she was having a bad game, has been since the beginning of the season with offensively. So would love to see Indiana, change the game plan a little bit, let Caitlin Clark continue to pass the ball, share the ball, but have other people like Aaliyah Boston, who had 27 and 12. They could have easily went for a 2 and tied the game up instead of going for a contested 3.
Yes, and how does Aaliyah Boston? She was the College Player of the Year about 2 or 3 years ago, before she got to the WNBA. Before Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark took over, Aaliyah Boston was dominating. So how is she looking?
Number 1 pick of that year before Caitlin and Angel. And she's been doing great. She had 27 and 13 against Jonquel Jones, who was defending her. So she has proven her game has gotten better. She's gotten a lot stronger. First season, you can tell she struggled a little bit just with the size, playing against Jonquel Jones and BG and Brianna Jones, players like that. But you can tell she's more confident. And having players like Duana Bonner, Natasha Howard, which were added to Indiana this season, just allow for more space and for her to be able to actually get the ball down there and not get crowded and do her thing. So all-star, I think it's an all-star season for her again this year. The way she started off.
I'm sure. Now, did you see Angel Reese she did an interview with Lisa Leslie? Did you see any of that?
On her podcast?
It was somebody's podcast.
Yeah, I think it was on Angel's podcast.
Okay.
No, I haven't checked that out yet.
Okay. I was interested because I only saw like a clip of it, but in the clip, Lisa Leslie was saying how if there was one thing that she would like to work with her on, it was her layups and all that. And so Angel Reese, that was some constructive criticism for her, and it's just funny seeing it, because some people can't really take constructive criticism, or some people may hear somebody criticize and they'll be like, I mean,
if it's coming from Lisa Leslie,
right. Of course.
You have to listen.
Of course. But it was interesting because, a lot of times you don't hear athletes of that stature have people actually tell them the truth in front of the camera, what I'm saying, to their face. But constructive criticism, and Lisa Leslie says, hey, she is one of the greatest. She's somebody else who we got to put into when we have our...
Well, she's definitely on the bracket.
Yeah. And she went to USC also after Cheryl Miller and Cynthia and McGee. And so she said that she could work with Angel Reese. She would love to work with her on her putback. So she's 0 for 8, you said, against Liberty. So that's, wow.
Only scored 2 points off free throws. Missed 4 out of the 6 free throws, only make 2. Yeah, her layup, it's very important. I mean, if you're getting another 24, you're getting a chance. She's so good at boxing out, so good at grabbing those rebounds. You had 8 out of your 12 rebounds were offensive rebounds, and you weren't able to capitalize on any.
Yeah.
So, Jeff Teague, is it Jeff Teague? Yes, he has a podcast, and
what did he say?
He's been taking, they've been taking Angel to miss the first layup of every game, and they're actually winning. Yes. Last game at the Liberty and the game before that at Chicago played, just airballed the first basket, a layup. So it's been tough for Angel. I don't know what's gotten into her. She definitely needs to make those layups, the easiest 2 points you can get. And now her team's gonna benefit from it. If you're able to grab all these rebounds, you have to capitalize on those offensive rebounds.
Now, how does she play in the Unraveled?
I mean, she played well.
Okay.
She, like she does, grab the rebound, throw it back out. Was able to finish. But it's a 3-on-3, so there's more space on the floor. Right. Things are a little different.
Because like somebody might say, oh, well, why wasn't she working on her game in the off season? Because last year that was like kind of a criticism of hers, and people love to say, and this right here is not even true, but people love to say, oh, she has so many offensive rebounds because she gets the rebound, puts it back up, misses it, and keeps rebounding it, putting it up and missing.
Yeah.
So someone would look at her like 0 for 8. Okay, well, was she working on her game in the off season? But I don't know.
I mean, I think she definitely was. Unrivaled wasn't no joke.
Right.
A couple people got hurt just working out, playing a little too overplaying. And just because she doesn't post that she's in the gym doesn't mean she's in the gym. Sometimes people confuse seeing her at the Met Gala or having all these deals. This is what we wanted. As media, as fans, we wanted more attention, more support, and that is it's what comes with it, attending all these events and putting your face out there. So I think she'll get a bit better as the season goes on. Also, it's a different coaching staff than she had last year. Tyler Marsh, first year head coach. Last year they had Teresa Weatherspoon. A lot of new pieces with Ariel Atkins and Courtney Vandersloot being the point guard now. So we have to give them some time. I mean, they play Dallas and Connecticut the next 4 games, which are the only other 2 teams yet to be on the win column.
Okay, yeah. And now, were you excited about Connecticut? Because last week you said you were leaving here to go watch Connecticut. So, which made me think that they might be a team that, could be doing some things, but no.
Oh, no. they haven't got a win yet. So as Dallas and Chicago, but I wasn't expecting much from Connecticut this season. Okay. They're in rebuild mode. They traded away their stars, Alyssa Thomas now in Phoenix, Dewana with Indiana, Reed Jones, who we just mentioned, with Atlanta.
Now Connecticut has never won a championship, right?
No, they've made it to the finals 4 times. Connecticut started off as the Orlando Miracle.
Really?
Yes, in 1999. Then we're bought by Connecticut, the Mohegan tribe, the first Native American tribe to own a pro sports team. Took that to Connecticut in 2003. Made it to the finals, I believe, in 99. 04, 05, 2012, and 2019. Most recently, 2019 and 2022 against the Aces where they lost. Yeah, so 4 times, 04, 05, 2019, 2022.
Yes, and I saw this date in WNBA history this morning, and you mentioned that there's rumors that the Connecticut team might move to Boston.
Correct. They played 1 game last season. I'm not sure if it was a preseason game. I believe so. In TD Garden, and it was sold out. So a lot of fans showed out. Having them in Mohegan, which is a hotel, resort, casino kind of vibe. I like that because a lot people who go to the casinos are looking for something to do, and going to a WNBA game is a perfect way to sell tickets. But the fact that the league is growing and having them in a city, they're in the middle of nowhere. You have to take a Amtrak and after that you have to take a bus. So it's very far, unless you're actually going to Mohegan to stay there at the resort, at the casino. But Connecticut does have a lot of fans. Having UConn, they're known for being basketball fans.
Exactly.
But I think they would do much better with the support of Boston, the city of Boston, especially if the Boston Celtics are the ones who, their ownership group by the Connecticut Sun. That would help, having the big brother team. And they deserve to play in a big arena with actual facilities, actual pro facilities. In Connecticut, they play in community center gyms.
Yeah, but a women's Celtics? Ew. No.
I like the Celtic Shamrocks.
Yeah.
The Boston Shamrocks.
Yeah. But you know what? That'll be interesting because, you definitely make a great point about how Connecticut is definitely a hub for women's basketball. Like, they appreciate women's basketball in Connecticut.
They really do.
And so, that's definitely been why, because you don't have a lot of really any Connecticut pro teams on the big levels. You had the Hartford Whalers in hockey a while ago, but they moved, so you don't really have any pro teams. But Connecticut is the one pro. Connecticut Sun, the WNBA, the one pro team in Connecticut, and women's basketball rules in Connecticut. So you wonder if they went to Boston, even if the Celtics were running them, how many people in Boston were
out of Boston, especially women hoopers in the college level who go away to different colleges. So basketball is big in Boston, not as big as in New York, but that Boston is a basketball city.
Yeah.
And I think the women's team will have great support there. And my main concern is really the practice facilities. There's no way that in Connecticut they don't have professional facilities. Like, how do you expect them to compete at a high level, especially a team like Connecticut who has made it to the finals 4 times? You would want your senior team is good. You would want to invest in them, and I think that's one of the reasons why Alyssa Thomas and decided to leave. Alyssa was drafted by the Liberty, traded on draft night to Connecticut for Tina Charles. Has played all her 11 seasons there before her season now with Phoenix. And I think she would have loved to stay in Connecticut if they provided those facilities and those proper equipment, for professionals.
Yeah, I saw your This Day in History report last week where you talked about how Alyssa Thomas was drafted on draft day by the Liberty and traded to the Sun, which I didn't realize that's how that went down and how Tina Charles got to the Liberty.
And Connecticut had a squad that year. They had Shanae Kubike, who was drafted number 1.
Yeah.
Alyssa, and they had Chelsea Gray.
Chelsea Gray. Oh, was Chelsea Gray drafted that year to the?
Yes. She was also drafted to Connecticut.
Oh, wow.
And then I know she made her way to Los Angeles, now with the Aces. So she won a championship with Los Angeles, actually.
Yeah.
16, but they've had great players, household name players, stars, but just haven't been able to get over the hump. Jonquel Jones, who was their first MVP in 2021.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so, Alyssa Thomas, she's never won MVP. Never.
No, she has not won MVP.
Okay.
I think the closest she was 2 years ago, when Breanna Stewart won.
Yeah.
She had so many triple doubles.
Yeah.
And really was the engine for Connecticut that season.
Yeah.
But no, has not been able to win MVP.
Now, who do you think is better, Alyssa Thomas or Jonquel Jones?
I think Jonquel Jones is better.
Okay.
I mean, Alyssa could do more just dribbling wise and creating her own shot, but who can guard Jonquel Jones?
Right.
When she's down low, and that game versus Chicago, she was letting it fly from 3 as well. So she could really do a lot of damage.
Cool.
I mean, Finals MVP for a reason.
Right.
Jonquel Jones has gotten every award pretty much. Rookie of the Year, 6th Player of the Year, MVP, All-Star MVP, Finals MVP. Her numbers and her accolades speak for themselves.
Okay, Carmela Cardoza, she is with Angel Reese with Chicago. She was rivaled against Angel Reese in college. Now they're teammates, and they were both drafted by Chicago last year. Both of their second years. So now, how is she doing so far?
I mean, they've both been having a slow start.
Okay.
It's a little tough. I love seeing the Courtney Vandersloot, Camila Cardoso connection. The fact that they have a point guard like Courtney Vandersloot, who's such a great passer, and having Camila Cardoso, who's such a great at running the floor, and Courtney being able to find her is going to do her well and help her shooting percentage, you know, since she really can't create her own shot. And I don't know, I think when Angel and Camila were both drafted that same year, I thought it was going to be the Twin Towers and that they were nobody was going to get through them.
Right.
But I don't know if they mesh well together. Having both big, sometimes I feel like they're fighting for the ball or in each other's way when they're trying to make a move in the post. So I don't know how that's working out for Chicago.
Yeah, and I wonder how it's working out between them personally, because they really did not like each other before they got drafted. They were big rivals.
Right, but it wasn't, you know, it was like on the court, I don't like you, you know, LSU, South Carolina.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
never showed anything off the court. When that, I mean, on draft night, they were hugging each other, smiles, happy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, you know, at that point,
It is what it is.
yeah,
you know?
yeah. And, you know, it's their draft night, so, you know, they want to make good. But, I mean, I remember the last game they faced each other. I mean, they were ready to go to blows
Yeah.
out there, you know what I'm saying? Like literally.
Yeah.
And Angel Reese was in her face, like, she was, like, in her face.
pulling
Yeah,
hair
like,
and
yeah, like, they were battling big time. And to the point where I'm like, yo, there's no way that Camila Cardoso likes her. I'm sorry, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is how I was thinking when they were playing in the last game in college. And then all of a sudden now they're teammates, and so now you're saying that, you know, they may, you know, like they're having trouble kind of finding their own space out there together. So you wonder how they're getting along, you know. So that's interesting. We don't know, but I would love to be a fly on the wall at some of their practices or whatever. So that's definitely a situation
But
to
I
monitor.
think, you know, them having a new coach and new players and them trying to figure it out, I think throughout the season we'll see them get into their groove a little bit once they figure out their position on the court.
You know what? And I'm not saying that those two don't get along at all, but there are a lot of teams where, of course, and this is one thing that the public never really thinks about or realizes, but a lot of teams throughout pro sports, you got teammates that don't like each other, you know what I'm saying? But
Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah. And like that's the one that we know about. But you know, there's so many stories about so many stories in every team of guys who got issues with each other that we don't ever hear about. I mean, like right now, all these teams, you know, there's some guys who don't like each other, but we never know about it. But so that's all something that is very interesting in terms of the construction of a team and just the build of a team, makeup of a team, and just how a team, how they.
I mean, that's been the downfall for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Like last year, we had Kennedy Carter, who's now playing in China overseas, blackballed from the WNBA for some reason, but was playing great, all-star level when she played for Chicago last year. And it was because of her attitude and the way she. It was a locker room cancer. That's what they labeled her as. So that can really affect no matter what you bring to the table. Just your attitude and how you get along with your teammates can really affect the whole build of a team.
Yeah, so definitely interesting how teammates coexist at times when they may not be crazy about each other. Now, in Dallas, okay, so we have another interesting situation.
Dallas still winless.
Winless, really.
Winless. 0-4, similar to last season.
0-4.
Started off with a slow start. Paige is having a great game. She had a good game against Minnesota. She had, like, for her to go, but knowing when it's time to create for her teammates. And they have a lot of big pieces in Dallas. Most improved player, Dejanay Carrington, adding Melissa Smith, Tiara McCowan. They're big also. Needs to do better on the boards, better at scoring those high possession shots. They need her. And it's really up to Enrique to be the leader of that team, be more vocal, and just know, like I said, she could really create her own shot, you know, because she could take over a game. But it's knowing when is the time, you know? Mm-hmm.
For sure. Okay, yeah, so, and hopefully they can have success together, because there were rumors that Paige was not that thrilled about going to Dallas before the draft or whatever, but we'll definitely, you know.
Could be true.
Yeah. So that will.
But they seem like they get along well. Just the practices and always playing around, posting each other. Which chemistry is the first part, having the chemistry outside of the court, but just on the court, they don't seem like they don't have that chemistry. But it's a new team, also a new coaching staff, first year head coach, so.
Gotcha. Okay, so.
Some time, but the most surprising team for me so far has been Washington, the Washington Mystics.
They're playing well, right?
Who are 2-2. Last season were 0-12. They started 0-12. It took them 13 games to gain their first win. So it's a huge difference from now. They started 2-0, now they're 2-2. Have 3 new rookies: Sonia Citrin from Notre Dame, Kiki Iriafen, I know one of your favorites, USC, played with Juju last season,
and before that, Stanford.
And before that, Stanford, yes, correct, with Cameron Brink. And Georgia Amore, who's hurt right now, got hurt in training camp, tore her ACL out for the season. But still, Washington has been able to find a way. Brittany Sykes leading the way.
Yeah. What's up? What happened to Aaliyah Edwards?
Aaliyah Edwards is going to be reevaluated, I think, sometime this week. She also got hurt in training camp with Georgia Amore. I think it was lower back. But she should be good and ready to go soon. So having a healthy Washington Mystics moving forward will be great. Another name you probably haven't heard of in a while, Shakira Austin, a star for Washington, got hurt 2 seasons ago, I remember, in New York, really bad. That caused her to miss the rest of the season. And since then, has been working her way back to the W. And once they're healthy, that Washington is healthy, I think they could make it to the first round of the playoffs. Sincerely, they lost Natasha Cloud last season, who played with Phoenix, which was a huge loss. Losing Elena Eladon, who retired. But the rookies, just Brittany Sykes was speaking on Sonia Citrin and just speaking on her poise and how she doesn't let anything affect her, the big stage, that she's ready. Always ready to learn and willing. Same thing with Kiki Iriafen, who had a double-double. The fastest to reach 3 double-doubles in the Mystics franchise. So it's going to be huge pieces. I can't wait for them to bring Aaliyah Edwards back. Like I said, Shakira Austin, their center. Then they'll be a complete and healthy team. So I think they could do a lot of damage this postseason.
Cool. Okay, so we're about to shut it down here. Is there anything else you want to say about the WNBA, the W?
I mean, tune in this week to see who gets their first win. All Dallas, Connecticut, and Chicago all play each other in the next 4 matchups. So let's see who's able to get on the win column this week.
And Liberty have how many games this week? They play Tuesday?
Yes, they play Tuesday. Let me give you the exact date.
And while you look at the
Golden State Valkyries, they play on Tuesday the 27th.
Easy win.
You think? And they play them again on Thursday.
Both at home?
Yes.
Okay. So the Liberty have the expansion team, 2 games at home this week. Okay, yeah, that should be two
easy wins.
Yeah. Now, before we go...
Taylor Thornton can get her ring. Will be able to get her ring, who we lost in the expansion draft this season.
Yep, the former Liberty. She'll come and get her ring as she comes back with the Valkyrie, and then she'll be a part of the beatdown that the Liberty gives to the Valkyrie. Yeah. Okay, now, so Knicks tonight got a win. Any thoughts? Did you see at all the Western Conference Finals last night, Game 3?
The beatdown from Ant-Man and Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's concerning. It's concerning. Now they're playing at Minnesota. The fact that they won by so much. But it's been interesting. That series has been interesting because no game has been close. Yes. I think the closest win was by 15. In the second game, Oklahoma won by 15. The other 2 games have been blowouts with 25 more points.
Yep. So hopefully, the Knicks can give that kind of effort, a Game 3 effort like Minnesota gave last night. Only thing is, Minnesota was at home.
And the Knicks are on the road.
Knicks are on the road.
We play better on the road, so
yes.
I think they can.
Yep. So let's see, folks. Big time game tonight, Game 3. All right. I want to say happy birthday to my dad. Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
And so I'm going to be going over to WBAI from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, talking Knicks. I have a old Knicks report I'm going to play from 11 years ago when it was a similar ending to Game 1 in this game 11 years ago. It involved 3 Hall of Famers, Dirk, Vince Carter, who was on Dallas at the time, and of course, Kayla's guy, Carmelo, all right? He, of course, was on that team. He's in the report. And then I'm going to have Curtis Bunn, former New York Daily News Knicks beat writer from, like, the early 90s, part of the 90s. I read him all the time when he was covering the Knicks during the Pat Riley, Indiana Pacer, Knicks, Reggie Miller days. So he's going to join me at 1:30 on BAI. So I'll be going over there, I believe, here at WACR. DJ Flame is next. I'm out of here. Have a great rest of your Sunday, everybody. Go Knicks, and happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody. Stay safe.
Oh, yeah, we're off tomorrow.
Yes. All right, folks. Have a great one. Peace.